Hey guys, in this video I'm going to teach you how to divide polynomials. Now this is very similar to what we did when we learned about the dividing exponents rules, because each of the problems that we're going to do are only going to be monomials, so you won't have to worry about doing anything special. All right, so basically all you need to do is remember that every term in the first set of parentheses here needs to be multiplied by whatever we're dividing by. So both the 6x and the 9 here need to be divided by 3. I'm not worrying about the variables at all because this 3 doesn't have a variable. So this one very simply would just be 6 divided by 3, which is 2. Keep the x, and 9 divided by 3 is 3. So your answer is 2x plus 3. Now this next one is dividing by x. So this time the coefficients are not changing, but the variables are. So 4 stays the same. And then remember your exponent rules. Keep the base and subtract the exponents. So for this one, it's x to the third over x. So keep the x, and 3 minus my invisible 1 is 2. Then I have plus 2, and x squared over x to the first is just x. So that would be it. Next one, we're going to combine both. So I'm going to divide everything by 3x. So both my coefficients and my variables with exponents are going to change. Okay, so 3 divided by 3 is 1. X squared over x to the first is just x. If you want to just write an x there, you can. You don't need this 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. And the x's cancel because they would give you x to the 0, which is just 1. And then negative 6 divided by 3 is 2. So that would be it's negative 2, so minus 2. And then the x is on the bottom here, so it's important that you remember that it stays down there. If you flip it up to the top, it becomes negative, which is not allowed. Okay, so that x has got to stay on the bottom. All right, this next one here, I'm dividing both terms by 5x to the 5th, y to the 3rd. Don't let the fact that there are different bases or multiple letters scare you. It's just one base at a time, like always. 40 divided by 5 is 8. X to the 8th over x to the 5th is x to the 3rd. And then the y thirds cancel because they are the same. Then negative 10 over 5 is negative 2. X to the 7 over x to the 5th is x squared. Y to the 4th over y to the 3rd is just y to the 1st. And that's it. Let's try a few more. Okay. This one here, we have 3 terms, but each of them are being divided by 4x squared. Let's see, 4 divided by 4 is 1. X to the 4th over x squared is just x squared. Negative 16 divided by 4 is negative 4. X to the 3rd over x squared is x. 20 divided by 4 is 5. And x squared over x squared cancels. Next one, divide everything by 2x squared, y to the 3rd. Twelve divided by 2 is 6. X to the 4th over x to the 2nd. X to the 6th over x to the 2nd is x to the 4th. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Y thirds cancel. 6 divided by 2 is 3. X to the 3rd over x to the 2nd is just x. Y to the 4th over y to the 3rd is just y. Negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4. X to the 5th over x to the 2nd is x to the 3rd. And y to the 5th over y to the 3rd is y to the 2nd. Couple more. Same thing, 4xy squared. That's what we're dividing by. Twelve divided by 4 is 3. X to the 4th over x to the 1st is x to the 3rd. Y to the 6th over y to the 2nd is y to the 4th. Negative 20 divided by 4 is negative 5. X to the 5th over x is x to the 4th. And then y to the 3rd over y squared is just y. 8 divided by 4 is 2. X to the 6th over x to the 1st is x to the 5th. And y to the 8th over y squared is y to the 6th. Now this last one here is written a little bit differently. Sometimes you see it as a fraction, kind of. It looks like a fraction. But you just need to remember that each term on the top is going to be divided by whatever is on the bottom. So 27 divided by 9 is 3. X to the 4th over x to the 3rd is just x to the 1st. Y to the 5th over y to the 4th is y to the 1st. Negative 18 divided by 9 is negative 2. X to the 9th over X to the 3rd is X to the 6th. The Y to the 4s would cancel here because they're the same. Then 45 divided by 9 is 5. X to the 3rds cancel because they're the same. And then Y to the 7th over Y to the 4th is Y to the 3rd. Now, if it helps you to rewrite everything out, you can. You can write 27x to the 4th, y to the 5th over 9x to the 3rd, y to the 4th. Do your middle term over this and your last term over this. You'll still get the same answer. It's completely up to you and what you are more comfortable with. But that's it. That's how you divide polynomials.